Greetings, denizens and detritus of the internet, and welcome back to Yang's Construction Spotlight. This week we are going to build our Omni Pommel. There's a million ways that you can do this. I'm going to show you one. To do this, we're going to use two pieces of foam. This is a 4.5 inch by 1.5 inch piece of 6-pound cross-linked polyethylene. If you don't have this and you want to use something else, you can use floor mat, or you can even use blue camp pad. Our second strip is a 6.5 by 3/4 inch strip of the Harbor Freight floor mat, which is approximately 4 pound. Like I said, it doesn't have to be these specific two. You can do this all with camp pad. So the first thing we're going to do is dap on the 6 pound. Dap. It doesn't need to be all the way to the top because only the bottom inch is going to be attached to the handle. Also, I almost forgot a step. Before we put the dap on the handle, we're going to put a couple of strips of electrical tape over the handle. The main reason for this is future repairs. If you dap your foam directly onto the handle, and then later try to remove it, you're going to notice that the dap works really well, and there's going to be a lot of foam sticking to your handle, and you're going to have to use some sort of solvent to get that off, or you're just going to have to go over the top of it. However, if you put tape over the end, then when you cut it off, you can just cut it off and take it all off in one piece, and the dap is only going to stick to the electrical tape. There's our electrical tape. Now the fun part, we let the dap dry. Alright, so our dap is dry. Here I have a small square piece of 6-pound XLPE. We're going to place that right on the tip. We need to make sure that we have 1/2 inch of padding all the way around. That also helps us measure exactly where our foam is going to go. Squished on there nice and tight. All right. The next thing we're going to do is torque wrap it onto the handle. Because I am making hardcore pommels for our pommel fighting fighters that want to go really hard, we are going to torque this extremely hard with narrow strapping tape. Get it nice and compressed, so that our pommel fighters don't have a lot of wiggle. If you're using camp pad or floor mat, you don't need to use strapping tape. You can use electrical tape or even packing tape, and you don't need to torque it nearly so hard. As a matter of fact, with the softer foams, if you compress it too hard, you're actually going to wind up making your pommel narrower than the 2 inches that it needs to be, so you have to be careful of that. Now we're going to put dap around here, and we're going to put dap on our floor mat. Now we let the DAP dry again. Alright, so our DAP is dry again. You have a couple of options. You could have put it down at the bottom of the pommel. I like to go around the center. It seems to provide the best coverage options for different types of grips. Again, we're going to torque it nice and hard with the strapping tape. If you didn't start with the 6 pound, you don't necessarily need to do it. I'm not torquing as hard because I want to make sure that I don't go under my 2 inches. And then as I get towards the bottom of this strip, I'm going to torque harder and compress more to try to make a nice pleasing shape. So there it is. Pommel is technically done. It still needs to be finished. You have a couple of options. What I used to do is I used to take a piece of cloth that either complements or is the same cloth as my cover. You just place it over, tape it down to the handle. What I like to do now is use electrical tape though. It stands up pretty durable, comes in a nice variety of colors, isn't going to stain. And all I'm going to do is just take a stripe over the top, down onto the handle. Then I'm going to overlap my next one slightly, like so. And repeat until my pommel is completely covered. Some colors of electrical tape, yellow and white, are the two that I have noticed. You may need to overlap a little bit more in order to not have the varying colors of the foam and whatever tape you use to torque wrap it show through. And there we have a nicely completed pommel. Fits nicely in the hand for your pommel fighters, not too wiggly. Also fits nicely in the hand for the way that I hold a pommel, which is down like that. And looks good and feels good. So, and it's just slightly over 2 inches. So we won't fail a weapons check. Alright, so that completes this week's video. Tune in next week and we will put on our blade cover. Thanks for watching.